What if I told you that right now, in this exact moment, your entire reality could shift? And not just a small change. I mean total transformation mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. And you've seen people talk about manifestation, about the law of attraction, about reprogramming the subconscious. But what if there was something deeper, older, and far more powerful? Something hidden in plain sight, encoded in the highest teachings of the ancient mystery schools, the 33rd degree secrets passed down through initiates for millennia, not to control the world, but to master the self. You're not watching this by accident. This is your call to initiation. There was a man who once stood at the edge of a cliff, quite literally and spiritually. He had lost everything: his purpose, his money, his identity. But in that moment of surrender, something ancient awakened within him. He sat down, closed his eyes, and instead of praying to be saved, he asked to be shown truth. What happened next was not a hallucination. It wasn't imagination. It was a direct download from the field, the source, the grid behind the illusion. He saw a blueprint of reality: how thoughts sculpt form, how symbols shape energy, and how each person is a node in a larger quantum web. That man was me, and I'm about to show you what was shown to me. The 33rd degree teachings aren't reserved for elites or secret societies. That's the lie. The truth is, they are encoded in every major spiritual system, every sacred text, every divine architecture across the world. They are not about worshiping gods, they are about becoming one with the divine code. They are not about hierarchy, they are about alignment. And the first secret is this: reality is nothing more than crystallized energy, responding to the dominant frequency of your being. Not your thoughts alone, not your words alone, but the deepest vibration of your belief, your identity, your intention. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
Let me ask you, who are you really? Not your name, not your job, not your story. Who are you at the level of essence, beyond the trauma, beyond the conditioning, beyond the survival programming? Because until you answer that question with absolute clarity, you will remain at the mercy of unconscious scripts. The 33rd degree teachings require brutal honesty. They begin where comfort ends. You must be willing to dismantle the false self, the egoic construct, the avatar you've been performing all your life. Because that version of you cannot shift reality. Only your true self can. To access the power of this secret, you must enter sacred stillness. Not just mental silence, but spiritual presence. This is the first gate, and it's the hardest for most to pass through, because the ego fears stillness. It knows that when the mind quiets, the soul speaks. So it will distract you, tempt you, flood you with noise. But if you can hold your focus, if you can breathe through the discomfort and stay, something miraculous will begin to occur. You'll feel your awareness expand. You'll feel your body become light. And then the field will begin to respond. The reason most people cannot shift their reality is because they are trying to do it from within the illusion. They are trying to change the movie while trapped in the scene. But the 33rd degree secret is this: you must exit the scene to edit the script. You must rise above the identity and observe it like a character in a dream. Only from that vantage point can you begin to rewrite the code. This is not metaphor. This is literal. Your consciousness is a cursor in the quantum field. Wherever you place your attention, you place your energy. And wherever you place sustained energy, form follows. Now, here is the next key. Thoughts do not create reality, embodied frequency does. You can think all the positive affirmations you want, but if your nervous system is broadcasting fear, lack, and unworthiness, the field will listen to that. The field does not respond to words. It responds to coherence. This is why ancient initiates practiced not just meditation, but breath mastery, emotional purification, and sacred ritual. They weren't superstitious. They were engineers of vibration. They understood that to shift reality, you must become the frequency of the outcome you desire before it arrives. Have you ever noticed how time bends when you're fully present? How a moment can feel eternal when you're in flow, or how days can vanish when you're stuck in repetition? That's not an illusion, it's a clue. Time is not linear, it's elastic. And when you reach a certain level of spiritual coherence, you begin to experience what the 33rd degree teachings call time folding. It's the collapsing of potential futures into the now moment. It's how miracles occur. It's how healing that should take years happens in seconds. And it's available to anyone who masters the art of presence. Another secret is this: symbols are not decorations, they are keys. The ancient symbols you see in temples, in sacred geometry, even in dreams, they are energetic codes. They communicate directly with the subconscious and the quantum field. That's why certain shapes activate you, while others disturb you. It's not random. Your soul recognizes the language of the divine. To shift your reality, you must surround yourself with symbols that align with the frequency you wish to embody. This is why vision boards work, but only when infused with sacred intention, not desperate desire. It's not about what you put on the board. It's about who you become when you gaze upon it. Let us now speak of imagination. Most people believe imagination is fantasy. But the 33rd degree truth is this: imagination is the interface between your consciousness and the quantum field. It's the canvas upon which reality is painted. Every invention, every breakthrough, every miracle begins in the realm of the unseen. But here's the key: you must hold the image long enough for the field to respond. This is where most fail. They visualize once, then doubt. They dream, then worry. But the masters hold the image with unwavering faith. They feel it, live it, become it, and thus it must manifest. Now ask yourself, what image are you holding most often? Is it fear? Is it failure? Is it some anxious loop of worst-case scenarios? Because the field does not judge, it simply reflects. You are not being punished by life. You are being mirrored. And when you understand this, you reclaim your power. You stop reacting and start creating. You stop blaming and start aligning. This is the essence of the 33rd degree path. Full responsibility, absolute clarity, radical embodiment. There's another layer we must touch. And this one, most are not ready for, but you are. The field is not just responding to you. It's responding to your lineage, your blood, your DNA, your ancestral coding. Many of the blocks you feel are not even yours. They are inherited frequencies. traumas passed down, beliefs embedded before you were born. But here's the secret. The moment you become aware of them, you can transmute them. You can end cycles that have looped for centuries. You can become the alchemist of your bloodline. And when you do, you don't just shift your reality, you shift the reality of all who came before and all who will come after. So here's your practice. Tonight, before you sleep, sit in stillness. Breathe deeply. Feel your heart. And then ask this question: what frequency am I broadcasting right now? Don't answer with words. Feel it. Is it peace? Is it fear? Is it gratitude? Is it doubt? Then choose one feeling, one frequency, and amplify it. Let it fill your body. Let it overflow into your aura. Let it become your state. Hold it for just 5 minutes fully, completely, and watch what begins to shift. This is not magic. It's not superstition. It's not wishful thinking. It's spiritual physics. The 33rd degree teachings are not about control, they're about resonance. If you resonate with truth, truth will find you. If you resonate with abundance, abundance will mirror you. If you resonate with love, not need, not attachment, but pure love, it will flood your life in ways you cannot imagine. You don't need to force it. You only need to become it. And now, I must ask you the question that every initiate must face. If your reality is a mirror and your life is a reflection, what are you still refusing to see? What truth are you avoiding? What part of you is still hiding? Because until you face it, you will remain in the loop. But the moment you look it in the eye, the illusion collapses. That is the moment of power. That is the path of the 33rd degree. Now that you've seen the mirror, you can't unsee it. Something in you has already started to shift. There's a vibration moving through your body right now, maybe subtle, maybe intense, but it's real. You're not just watching a video. You're undergoing initiation. There's a sacred contract being reactivated, not with words, but with frequency. And from this moment on, whether you choose to acknowledge it or not, the truth will keep calling you. Every thought, every emotion, every experience will start revealing its deeper layer because you've opened the gateway. And what we're about to explore next will accelerate that shift in a way you may have never imagined possible. One of the most profound secrets of the 33rd degree is the law of inversion. It may sound obscure, but once you understand it, your entire perception of reality changes instantly. The law of inversion states that the truth is often hidden by being reversed. In other words, the world you see, the chaos, the struggle, the fear, is often the opposite reflection of what's truly available in the field. This is why spiritual breakthroughs often come after breakdowns, why love arises from heartbreak, why awakening often feels like insanity at first. The illusion must collapse before the truth can rise. But only those who can see through the inversion can navigate it with power. When you apply this law to your own life, you begin to see something extraordinary. Your greatest pain has always been the doorway to your highest power. The places where you feel the most stuck, the most ashamed, the most lost, those are not signs of failure. They are sacred maps. They are invitations. If you've struggled with feeling unworthy, it's because your soul came here to embody divine worth. If you've battled with being unseen, It's because you were meant to become a beacon. The field pushes you not to punish you, but to provoke the birth of your true self. That's the inversion. The moment you flip the script, you reclaim your power. Let me ask you something most will never dare to answer honestly. What have you been calling reality that is actually just a long-held agreement with fear? Look at your beliefs about money, love, health, your body, your identity. Did you choose them, or did you inherit them? Are they based on truth or on trauma? The 33rd degree teachings demand that we break every unconscious contract, not by force, but by awareness, because awareness is the solvent. When you shine the light of pure presence on a belief, it begins to dissolve, and in its place, truth emerges. Another core teaching is the sacred triad: thought, emotion, action. Most people live these in separation. They think one thing, feel another, and act in contradiction to both. This creates chaos in the field. But when you align all three, you become a generator of coherence. The universe doesn't respond to your thoughts alone, it responds to the alignment of your mind, heart, and body. When all three are saying the same thing, your reality has no choice but to shift. This is why monks, shamans, and mystics spend years in discipline not to suffer, but to align. You don't have to take years. You only have to become intentional. So how do we begin to align? Start with your morning. That's your foundation. Before you check your phone, before you speak a word, sit in stillness. Ask yourself, what frequency do I choose to embody today? Not what you want to get, what you want to give off. Then breathe it in, anchor it, feel it in your gut, speak it aloud, and move as if it's already true. This is not faking it. This is facing it, facing the reality you choose before the world tells you who to be. Every day is a ritual. Every choice is casting a vote into the quantum field. And the field is always listening. Let's go even deeper. One of the most guarded 33rd degree principles is the power of the observer. You've heard you create your reality, but what does that truly mean? The observer effect in quantum physics shows that particles behave differently when observed. They collapse into form based on attention. Now apply this to your life. What are you observing into existence through your focus? Your attention is creating patterns. Your judgment is locking them in place. Every time you say, "This always happens to me," you're observing that pattern into repetition. But the moment you shift from unconscious observer to conscious creator, you activate your divine role. You stop reacting and start choosing. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What for?" That question alone can break lifetimes of karma. Because karma is not punishment, it's repetition. And repetition is broken with realization. When you realize the pattern, the loop ends. You don't need to run from it. You need to see it fully, without flinching. And then, with love, not judgment, you choose differently. Here's a powerful practice. Throughout your day, pause and ask, who is observing this moment right now? Is it your wounded self? Your fearful self? Your empowered self? Your divine self? The you that observes determines the energy that manifests. This is why spiritual mastery isn't about controlling the outer world. It's about mastering the lens through which you see it. When your lens becomes clear, when it is polished with presence, compassion, and clarity, reality rearranges itself to match. Now let's talk about the vibration of speech. Every word you speak casts a spell. That's why it's called spelling. The 33rd degree teachings emphasize that sound is the first tool of creation. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was vibration. Every syllable carries a frequency. Are your words blessing your life or cursing it? When you say, "I am tired," you are commanding your cells to fatigue. When you say, "I am powerful," you are activating that archetype. Be meticulous with your language. Speak with the awareness that every word is a wand. But here's the twist. It's not just about positive affirmations. It's about authentic frequency. If you say, "I am abundant," but feel scarcity, the field listens to the feeling, not the words. So before you speak, check your state. Align your emotion with your declaration. That's when things start to move. That's when the matrix bends. You're not here to chant empty mantras. You're here to speak living truth that echoes from the soul, not the surface. Let me ask you something that can change the entire trajectory of your life. What truth are you afraid to speak out loud? What part of your soul is still silenced by fear, shame, or conformity? Because the moment you speak it, not for drama, not for validation, but for liberation, you will feel the chains break. You will feel reality tremble. Because truth is the highest frequency. And when you speak it, you become a lightning rod for miracles. Embodying the 33rd degree path means living as if the divine is watching through your eyes, breathing through your lungs, loving through your heart. It means becoming a vessel, not for ego, but for essence. And when you live this way, the world begins to mirror you in extraordinary ways. Synchronicities become normal. Coincidences accelerate. People appear at the perfect moment. Doors open without effort. Why? Because you are no longer pushing reality. You are dancing with it. But let me be clear, this is not a bypass. This is not spiritual escapism. This is not about pretending pain doesn't exist. This is about transmutation, about turning wounds into wisdom, fear into fuel, triggers into teachers. It's about walking through the fire and emerging not just alive, but illuminated. That's what the 33rd degree initiates did. And that's what you are being called to do now. So tonight, make this your ritual. Light a candle. Sit in silence. Ask your higher self, what am I ready to release? What am I ready to embody? Then listen not with your ears, but with your heart. Let the answers come. They may arrive as a whisper, a memory, a vision. Whatever comes, trust it, honor it, and then act on it. Even if it's small. Especially if it's small. Because in the quantum world, small shifts create massive ripples. You are not here to beg the universe for scraps. You are here to co-create with the divine intelligence that lives within you. Every breath you take is proof that the field is listening. Every heartbeat is a drumbeat of creation. You don't have to wait. You don't have to earn it. You only have to remember. Now that you've begun to remember, you can never fully return to who you were. That's not a metaphor. That's a spiritual law. Once awareness expands, it cannot contract. You can pretend, you can hide, you can even run, but the truth will follow you. Not to punish you, but to reclaim you. Because once you've touched even a fragment of the 33rd degree wisdom, your soul begins to accelerate. You become a living portal. You become the bridge between worlds. And now, in this final part, we go to the deepest layer, the final veil, the core of instant reality shift. The place where identity dissolves and pure creation begins. There is a point in spiritual evolution where you stop chasing outcomes and start embodying essence. Most people are fixated on results, money, relationships, success, healing. But the 33rd degree path teaches something radically different. Outcomes are the shadow of frequency. When you embody the frequency of abundance, abundance in all forms becomes inevitable. When you become love, love flows into your life from every corner. You stop trying to manifest things, and instead, you become the version of yourself that those things naturally gravitate toward. This is not a technique. It is a state of being, and it is available to you right now. But to sustain this state, you must go through the final gate, the death of the old self. The ego will resist. It will cling to familiar patterns, identities, and narratives. It will say, "But who am I if I don't struggle? Who am I if I don't suffer?" And the answer is terrifying to the ego. You are free. Free to exist without drama. Free to create without pain. Free to be without proving. Most people fear freedom more than failure. Because in freedom, there are no excuses, only infinite potential. And infinite potential is a mirror that demands clarity. Who are you willing to become when there's nothing left to blame? Here is the culminating secret of the 33rd degree. Reality is not something outside of you. It is a projection of your dominant fractal of consciousness. This means your life is not happening to you. It's happening through you. Every person, every challenge, every triumph is a holographic feedback loop. Your relationships are showing you your self-worth. Your finances are showing you your beliefs about flow. Your body is showing you your alignment or resistance. This is not to create guilt, it is to give you power. Because once you understand this, you stop fighting the hologram and start reprogramming the projector. Let me ask you something that only the brave will answer. What part of your current reality are you still unconsciously benefiting from? Maybe your struggle gives you identity. Maybe your chaos gives you attention. Maybe your lack gives you permission to stay small. Be honest. Because the 33rd degree path is not about pretending to be enlightened. It's about illuminating the dark corners of your own psyche and taking full responsibility for every pixel of your life. That's the only way the simulation shifts. Not by escaping it, but by mastering it from within. Now we must speak about the sacred body. In lower teachings, the body is seen as a burden. But in the 33rd degree, the body is the temple. It is the crystallization of your spirit. Your cells are listening to your thoughts. Your breath is the bridge between dimensions. Your posture is a declaration of your worth. Every movement can be a ritual if done with intention. This is why initiates practice sacred movement, breathwork, sound, and stillness. Not to control the body, but to activate it. Your body is the portal. If you want to instantly shift your reality, you must bring your body into alignment with your vision. Walk like the version of you who already has it. Speak like them. Breathe like them. It will feel unnatural at first. That's how you know you're stepping out of the old timeline. The field does not respond to fantasy. It responds to certainty. And certainty is not arrogance, it is resonance. When every cell in your body hums with the frequency of your truth, the world must rearrange to reflect it. This is not law of attraction. This is law of embodiment. The 33rd degree doesn't teach you to ask the universe, it teaches you to become the universe in form. That's the shift. That's the point where miracles become normal, because you're no longer waiting, you're wielding. Now we must touch on the sacred silence. In a world addicted to noise, silence is a radical act. But it's in silence that the codes come, from the downloads, the visions, the knowing that cannot be taught. Every 33rd degree initiate spends time in silence, not just to escape the world, but to decode it. In silence, you meet your true self, without the filters, without the stories, without the mask. And when you meet that self naked, raw, eternal, you realize you were never broken, only buried, under layers of shoulds and shame and fear. But now, the excavation is complete, and your essence is ready to lead. Let me tell you the truth that no one wants to say, but everyone needs to hear. You are already the version of yourself who can do it. You're just not acting like it yet. The code is already in you. The future is already pulsing in your field. But you must choose it, not once, every day, every breath, every choice. This is not about becoming someone else. It's about returning to who you were before the world told you who to be. And now we end the way we began, with a shift. As you hear these words, your reality is already changing. Neurons are rewiring. Energy is realigning. Possibilities are collapsing into form. Not because I said so, but because you're ready. You've crossed the threshold. You've stepped into the frequency where time bends, where the field responds, where the universe whispers, "Welcome back." So I ask you, now that you know what you are, what will you do with it? Will you walk differently, speak differently, choose differently? Because the world doesn't need more followers. It needs creators, architects of light, embodied fractals of truth. And you, yes, you were born for this. It's time to stop watching your life and start designing it with precision, with power, with presence. The 33rd degree secrets were never meant to be hidden. They were meant to be lived. And now they are yours.